In the 1998 film Rush Hour, Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan play a bit of an odd couple. And immediately off the bat, there's quite a bit of differences between the two. Chris Tucker, the streetwise, smart mouthed LA cop, and Jackie Chan, the police inspector from China, from Beijing, they meet, and Chris Tucker automatically assumes that Jackie Chan doesn't understand anything. Gets fairly condescending. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Saying different things like that. Turns out a little bit later, Jackie Chan absolutely does speak English, and he says there's a difference between speaking or being able to speak and not speaking. In other words, just because I know English doesn't mean I have to speak English to you. You like to talk? I'm going to let you talk. There was a language barrier, but it was made with an assumption. Here in John chapter 10, we see an assumption made by the Pharisees where they hear what Jesus is saying, but they can't seem to quite understand it because of their own preconceived ideas and assumptions. In verse 22, we see the festival of dedication at Jerusalem begins. It's winter, and Jesus is in the temple courts walking in Solomon's colonnade, and the Jews who were there gathered around him. Other translations basically say they encircled him. So it's kind of a mob going, all right, Jesus, this is it. How long will you keep us in suspense? How long will you let our lives waste away? If you are the Messiah, tell us plainly. And this is how Jesus responds. I did tell you, but you didn't believe me. They're saying, Jesus, you keep speaking in riddles. How could you speak in riddles? Why are you speaking in riddles? And Jesus goes, I haven't been speaking in riddles. I have told you, but you don't listen to what I'm saying. And they say, Jesus, speak plainly. And Jesus says, it really doesn't matter if I speak plainly because you are not going to hear. You see, what's going on here is not a head issue. It is a heart issue where they refuse to acknowledge who Jesus is because, once again, Jesus is not meeting their expectations of the Messiah. And so because of that, they look at what Jesus says and they look at what Jesus does and they cannot acknowledge it. This is the reason why there was the debate in verses 19 through 21. He's a demon. He's insane. Why would you listen to this person? And other people going, well, hold on a minute. Can a demon do this? Can a demon help people see? There's debate because they refuse to recognize what's actually going on. And Jesus says this, I'm telling you. And if you don't believe what I'm saying, look at what I'm doing. The works that I do in my Father's name, they bear witness. They show exactly who I am. But you do not believe because you are not among my sheep. My sheep hear my voice and I know them and they follow me. I give them eternal life and they will never perish and no one will snatch them out of my hand. My Father who has given them to me is greater than all, and no one is unable to snatch them out of the Father's hand. I and the Father are one. Here's what basically Jesus is saying here. Listen, if you won't believe me and you won't believe my works, there's nothing that I am going to be able to do for you because you are not one of mine. And as a result of this, not only that, are you not one of mine, you are not one of the Father's. You are, in essence, the ones who have been deemed heretics. You are the ones that have been deemed blasphemers, doing things in the name of God, and yet not truly living for God, saying that you are a follower of Yahweh, of Jehovah, of Elohim, and not following out on the things that he actually commanded in his word. Jesus is flipping this around and saying, you have refused to listen, and as a result of your hardened hearts, there's nothing that can be done for you. I give them eternal life, his sheep, the one that follow his voice. I give them eternal life, and they will never perish. See, this is one of the beautiful gifts that Jesus promises, is salvation. We can never be destroyed. If you are a follower of Christ, this body will wither away, and yet there is a promise that we will be with God for all of eternity. And this is a promise that God made through the Son, Jesus. My Father has given them to me, is greater than all, and no one is able to snatch him out of the Father's hand. This is where we get the song, he's got the whole world in his hand. The truth is that God, once he deems you one of his children through Jesus Christ, eternal life is secure. Life is guaranteed because God is one. The Father and the Son are of one mind and of one heart in perfect, beautiful unity. This is what Jesus is trying to tell them, and still They act like they're the jury when they're actually the ones that are on trial. See, this is an interesting situation we see here. These guys surround Jesus as if he's the one on trial, and they have completely missed the fact that they're the ones that are on trial. This is the beautiful part of what Jesus does, though. For all who do believe, we have the wonderful gift of eternal life, of a life worth living, all because we were willing to listen to the voice of the shepherd and follow him. That's great reassurance.